In this video, I'm going to teach you how to create a beautiful professional custom blog on WordPress with Elementor Pro and Crocoblock. Hello, I'm your host Casino from Casino.com. I'm the digital alchemist, and today I'm going to teach you how to create a custom blog on WordPress. And when I say custom, I'm talking about the design and the layout here. Because let's be honest, most websites feature boring blogs, whether it's the blog archive or the single post. So today we're going to fix that. Okay, let's take a look at what we're going to build. So as you can see, as I scroll down, it's a very minimal and beautiful design. And as I scroll down, you can now see the blog tiles. Now, in this video, I'm really going to focus solely on the blog part of this website. So I'm not going to explain all the pages and everything. But if you're wondering about this gorgeous full screen navigation, then make sure you stay until the end because I'm going to let you know how you can achieve that. Okay, so let's click on blog. So once again, here we have our blog tiles. And as I scroll down, as you can see, it's loading some more blog posts. So this is what we want to replicate. And if I click on one of the blog posts, here we have a split layout with the image on the left and the text on the right hand side. And as I scroll, as you can see, the image is staying fixed. And then as I scroll down at the very bottom, we have the latest post from the blog. Same thing for our tablet version, we have our tiles, and if I click on the first tile, there you go. Here it's a bit different because we have the image on top, and of course it's not staying fixed. That wouldn't make sense on the tablet or on the mobile. And then we have our text, and once again we have the latest post at the end. And last but not least, same thing on the mobile. All our tiles are the same size this time because we're on the mobile. And if I click on the first tile, there you go, just like the tablet version. Okay, so what do we need to complete this project? Okay, so apart from WordPress, the first thing I'm going to use is a theme, and I'm going to use the free Astra theme. Now, feel free to use any theme you want, but you might as well install Astra if you want to follow along. Okay, next we are going to use Elementor and Elementor Pro. So if you don't have Elementor Pro yet, you can either get the cloud version or the plugin version. Now, of course, you'll find affiliate links in the description below. Affiliate means that I do get a commission if you purchase after clicking on my link, but I only recommend Elementor Pro because I absolutely love this product. I use it on 100% of my websites nowadays. Okay, next we'll be using Jet Engine and JetBlock from Crocoblock. So you can either get these individually. So Jet Engine starts at $43 and JetBlock at $23. Now, if you want to build your WordPress designer and developer stack, I can't recommend Crocoblock enough. This is crazy. I mean, so many tools, Jet Engine, Smart Filters, Jet Appointment. Jet Engine alone is worth the package. Now, when it comes to pricing, and I've talked about this extensively on the channel before, so you can either, like I said, get it per plugin, so that's going to be the cheapest option. But if you want the full package, you can either get all-inclusive, you're going to pay $199 per year, and that's for one website. Now, if you want all-inclusive unlimited websites, then you have other tiers, and it gets higher. But when I first recommended Crocoblock, it was $250 for the lifetime unlimited websites. Then it moved up to $500, $750, and now it's $999. And it may keep going up. And even at this price, I know it sounds like it's a lot of money, and it is. But at the same time, with just one website that you're going to sell to a client, you can make your money back. And with Crocoblock, you can build much more robust websites. You can do so many things. And I'm just going to give you a glimpse today. So of course, you'll find the link in the description below. Okay, let's get started, shall we? Okay, so I assume you know how to install plugins and themes. In case you don't, just either upload your plugin or search a plugin in the search field, click install, and then activate. Now, in my case, I've already installed Jet Theme Core, which is the main plugin for Crocoblock. So next, I need to add my license, click on activate. And as you can see, I've already installed and activated Jet Engine. Now, let me show you for JetBlock. So I'm just going to click on install. Okay, so now the plugin has been installed, and all I need to do is click on activate plugin. Okay, next, let's create some dummy content. So for that, you want to go to posts, all posts, then click on add new. Now, as you can see, I've already added a few blog posts. So let me open the first one here. Okay, and as you can see, we have our title, and then you're going to paste some dummy text. And you should use a lot of text. We need this just to demonstrate the fixed column effect. Okay, next, make sure you add a featured image as well as a category. Once you're happy, click on publish. And in my case, it's update. So if I make any change, now it says update, and repeat the operation. And like I said, you need a minimum of 7 blog posts for the demo you want to demonstrate. Okay, next, let's create our listings. But what are listings? So for example, here you see at the bottom, latest posts. And as you can see, they are all similar. Now the image changes and the text changes, of course, but the layout is the same. So that's a listing. We want one element that we're going to define as the standard, and then we can replicate it. Or just like this part here. Now we're on the main blog page and it looks like it's one big block, but actually the first part with the tiles is from the JetBlock plugin. And then the part below that you see here with 3 columns is actually a listing grid. So a listing grid is a grid that uses listings, as you may have guessed. Okay, so let's start by building the listing for this last example. So for that, in WordPress, you want to go to Jet Engine Listings. As you can see, I already have one, but that's for another video. That's for the portfolio. So let's click on Add New. And where it says Listing Item Name, I'm going to call it Listing Blog Posts Master. Click on Create Listing Item. Okay, and the first thing I want to do is clicking on the gear icon at the bottom left corner. Then you want to click on Listing Settings. So where it says Preview Width, you want to type 400. And where it says Make Listing Item Clickable, you want to toggle it on. And all of this is going to help us preview the listing the way it should be previewed. Okay, next, let's click on the plus sign to create a new section. And we want a section with 1 column. So where it says height, you want to set a minimum height, choose pixels, and type 600. Now you want to click on the responsive icon, go into tablet mode, and for the tablet it's going to be 400. And once again for the mobile, and this time it's going to be 240 pixels. Okay, let's go back into desktop mode. And next, where it says column position, you want to go from middle to stretch. Next, you want to click on the style tab. Then where it says background tab, you want to select classic. And then you want to hover over the image and then click on the dynamic tags icon and select featured image. Next, where it says repeat, you want to choose no repeat. And where it says size, you want to choose cover. Next, you want to click on the background overlay sub tab. For the background tab, you want to choose gradient. For the first color, you can pick any color, and then you want to drag the opacity all the way to the left, so completely transparent. Next, where it says second color, I'm going to pick my primary color, but of course yours may differ. Next, we want to click on the border sub tab, and we want to give it a border radius of 3, just so that the corners are not totally square. Next, you want to click on the advanced tab, and where it says padding, I'm just going to type 20, so it's 20 all around. Then I'm going to click on the icon to unlink the values. And for the top, it's going to be 0. So 0 top, 20 right, 20 bottom, and 20 left. Okay, one last thing before we're done with our section. You want to go back to the layout tab, and there where it says vertical align, you want to select bottom, because if you don't, the text is going to be right at the top and we want it at the bottom. Okay, next we want to add a heading. So we're going to click on the widgets icon, and then I'm just going to drag a heading in the middle. Now where it says title, I'm just going to remove all of the text, and then I'm going to click outside the box. And now when I click outside the box, you can see the dynamic tags icon. So I'm just going to click on the dynamic tags icon, and I'm going to select post title. And that's going to pick one example from the dummy content we created earlier, and you can see the title right here. Next, you want to make sure you select the appropriate HTML tag. In this case, I'm going to select H2, and then you want to click on the style tab. So where it says text color, I'm going to change this to white. And then I'm going to click on typography. Now by default, this says the name of the font here, but a better practice is to actually define your fonts and colors in the site settings and then just use default. This way, if you want to change the font on all of your website, and the same thing for the colors, you can do it in one click and not just go to each and every piece and change everything bit by bit. Okay, so for the desktop, I'm going to choose a size of 25. And then where it says line height, I'm going to click on pixels and type 30. It's going to be the same thing for the tablet, but for the mobile. So I'm going to click on the responsive icon for the mobile. This time it's going to be 20 pixels and the line height is going to be 25 pixels. Okay, let's zoom back out and let me publish or update my listing. Okay, now let's take care of our second listing. And in case you're wondering, this listing is going to be used for the latest post section that you can see here at the bottom. So it's going to be very similar. We're going to go to Jet Engine, then listings, then click on add new. And this time we're going to call it listing latest posts. Click on create listing item. Next, you want to click on the gear icon at the bottom left corner of the window. Then you want to go to the listing settings subtab where it says preview width. This time you want to type 300. And once again, you want to make listing item clickable. Next, you want to click on the plus sign to create a 1-column section. And then where it says height, you want to choose minimum height, choose pixels and type 150. And this time is going to be the same height all around for desktop, tablet and mobile. And next where it says vertical align, you want to select bottom. Okay, let's zoom back out. And next you want to click on the style tab. Then where it says background type, you want to select classic and then hover over the image, click on the dynamic tags icon and select featured image. Next, where it says repeat, you want to select no repeat. And where it says size, you want to select cover. Next, click on the background overlay subtab. For the background tab, you want to select gradient. And for the first color, you want to pick any color, but then you want to drag the opacity slider all the way to the left to make it completely transparent. And where it says second color, once again, I'm going to select my main color. And this time for the location value, I'm going to type 65. Okay, let's update our work. Next, you want to click on the border subtab. And once again, where it says border radius, you want to type 3 all around. Next, you want to click on the advanced tab. And where it says padding, you want to type 20. So it's 20 all around. Then you want to click on the icon to unlink the values. And we're just going to change the top value to 0. So it's 0, 20, 20, 20. Okay, next we want to add our title. So click on the widgets icon and just drag a heading right here in the middle. Once again, let's delete the text. Click outside the box. And as you do so, the dynamic tags icon will appear. Click on it and then just select post title. And then let's click on the style tab. And where it says text color, I'm going to pick white. Next, click on typography. Once again, I'm going to choose my default font. And then for the size, it's going to be 20 pixels on the desktop. And then where it says line height, choose pixels and it's going to be 25. Actually, this time is going to be the same values for desktop, tablet and mobile. So we can leave it like this. Okay, let's update our work. Okay, great. That's a good foundation. And now let's create our blog page. So in WordPress, you want to go to pages, add new, then we're going to call it blog. And then you want to click on publish. Next, you want to go back to your dashboard and click on appearance menus, then either create a new menu or edit the existing one. I already have a menu. So all I'm going to do is check most recent, click on blog, add to menu. And then I'm just going to hit save menu. Okay, next let me go back to the page I just created. And then I'm just going to click on the edit with Elementor button. Okay, first let's click on the plus sign to create a new section with 1 column. And then where it says content width, we want to keep it boxed. And for the width, I'm just going to type 1800. Next, where it says height, I'm going to select minimum height, click on VH, and I'm going to type 70. Next, where it says column position, I want to change from middle to stretch. Okay, let's zoom back out. And next, you want to click on the advanced tab. And where it says padding, you want to unlink the values. And on desktop, it's going to be 40, 60, 40, and 60. Then click on the responsive icon to go into tablet mode. Unlink the values. And this time it's going to be 40, 60, 80, 60. Once again, for the mobile, unlink the values. And this time it's going to be 20, 20, 60, 20. Okay, let's zoom back out and let's update our work. Now let's go back into desktop mode by clicking on the desktop icon and let's select our only column. You can do so by hovering over the column and clicking on it, or you can open the navigator and you can do that by clicking the navigator link at the bottom left corner of the window, or you can use Command+I on a Mac and I guess Control+I on a PC. So as you can see here, I get my section and my column and I can just click on the column just to make sure it's selected. Now with our column selected, where it says widget space, you want to type 0. Let's zoom back out and let's click on the advanced tab. And where it says padding, I'm going to click on the responsive icon, go into tablet mode, and I'm going to type 0 so that it's 0 all around. And it's going to be the same thing for the mobile, but by default, it picks up what comes from the tablet. So you should be okay. So let's zoom back out and let's update our work. Okay, let's go back into desktop mode and now we want to add our blog tiles. So in case you forgot, this is what the tiles look like. So back in WordPress, you want to click on the widgets icon. And then you want to scroll all the way down where you find Jet Blog, and it's actually labeled Jet Elements. So you want to drag a Smart Post Tiles widget. The one thing you may want to do if you're going to play a lot with this is just right click on it, click on Add to Favorites. And then later on, we'll need to use the listing grid. So I'm going to do the same thing, right click on listing grid, Add to Favorites. And now if I scroll all the way up, as you can see, we got both the listing grid and the Smart Post Tiles. So I'm just going to drag a Smart Post Tiles widgets here in the middle. And then where it says layout, I'm going to pick the third structure. Then where it says minimum height, I'm going to type 1050. Next, where it says excerpt length, I'm going to type 0 instead of 10 because we don't want any excerpt. And then where it says post meta, I'm just going to toggle it off. Okay, next let's click on the style tab. And where it says gap between boxes, I'm going to change this to 10. And where it says padding, I'm going to type 40 pixels all around on desktop. Then click on the responsive icon, go into tablet mode, and I'm going to type 20. And it's going to be the same thing for the mobile. So by default, it's going to pick 20. Let's go back into desktop mode. And where it says border radius, I'm going to give it a border radius of 3 all around. And next, let's go to the box overlay sub-tab. For the background type, we're going to pick a gradient. The first color can be any color, but you want to drag the opacity all the way to the left, so completely transparent. And for the second color, I'm going to pick my main color, but the color is a bit too visible. So I'm just going to reopen the color, and then I'm going to drag the opacity slider right in the middle. Okay, let's close this. Let's zoom back out a little bit. And next I'm going to move to the content sub-tab. So the color should be white. And for the color hover, I'm going to pick a very light gray. So it's F1, F1, F1 in my case. Then click on typography. Once again, I'm going to pick my default setting. And for the size on desktop, it's going to be 25 pixel. And for the line height, click on pixels, it's going to be 30 pixels. It's going to be the same thing for the tablet, but for the mobile, it's going to be 20 pixels. And the line height is going to be 25 pixels. Let's close this and let's go back into desktop mode. And where it says alignment, make sure you select left. Next, let's adjust the main box title. So the main box is the first one you see here on the left-hand side. Okay, so where it says color, once again, it's going to be white. Then the color hover is my secondary color. For typography, default. And for the size on desktop, it's going to be 30 pixels. And the line height is going to be 35. Now let's go into tablet mode. And here it's going to be 20 pixels and 30 pixels for the line height. And then let's go to the mobile mode. It's going to be 20 pixels and 25 pixels for the line height. Okay, let's close this and let's move to the term links sub-tab. Now, before we do anything, let's go back into desktop mode. So the term links is the little rectangle you see here. So by default, it picks your primary color. And for the text color, I'm going to pick my very light gray. And then if you want to change the colors when you hover over this item, click on hover, and then you can change the color. And now when I hover over the elements, as you can see, color changes. Okay, so let's update our work. And as you can see, it's starting to look good. But if we look at the demo, as you can see, when you scroll down just underneath the smart tiles, we have another row. So this is the listing grid I talked about earlier on. Okay, so let's go back. And now I want to add a listing grid. So let's click on the widgets icon. Then I'm going to scroll up a little bit. And I'm just going to drag a listing grid and place it just underneath the smart post tiles. Okay, so first of all, where it says listing, you need to pick a listing. So I'm just going to type listing because that's how I label both my listings, and then I can see which one I want. So in this case, I want to use the blog post master. So let's click on this. And as you can see now, it appears. But there's a problem because it's showing the same blog post that is showing here in the first widget, and we don't want that, but we're going to fix this in a moment. So first of all, columns number. So it's going to be 3 on the desktop, but then let's move on to tablet. And now it's going to be 1. And same thing for the mobile, 1. Okay, let's move back into desktop mode. And where it says post number, you want to remove 6. 6 comes by default. Then where it says lazy load, you want to toggle it on. Okay, let's scroll down and you want to toggle load more on. And for the load more type, you want to select infinite scroll. Okay, next let's move on to the post query sub tab. You want to click on add item. Then in the drop down, you want to select order and offset. And where it says post offset, you want to type 4. Okay, so it's offsetting the query. And now what we told the system is that the first 4 blog posts, we don't want to see them in this widget. Why? Because the first 4 blog posts are already used here in the previous widget. And make sure the order is on DESC for descending. Okay, I hope it makes sense. Okay, next, let's click on the Style tab. And for the horizontal gap, we want to type 10 and the same for the vertical gap, 10. Okay, next, you want to click on the Advanced tab. And where it says Margin, you want to click on the icon to unlink the values. And we're just going to give the top a value of 4 and then 0 all around. Okay, looking good. Let's update our work. Okay, great, we're getting there. But now it's time to create our blog post template. So in WordPress, you want to go to Templates, Theme Builder. Then you want to click on Single Post and click on Add New. Okay, it's offering us some blocks and templates. We don't want any of that, so let's close this. And then we want to click on the gear icon at the bottom left corner of the window. And where it says title, I'm going to change the title to Template Blog Post Single. Let's publish our work. And the first time you click on publish, it's going to ask you to add a condition. So let's click on add condition. We want to include, and where it says all singular, you want to click on it. And then in the drop down where it says posts, click on this and then click on save and close. So now this is going to replace all of our single blog posts. Now we haven't done anything yet, but we're going to fix that right now. Okay, so first click on the plus sign and let's create a 2-column structure. And then once again, we want to go to the settings of the page. So click on the gear icon at the bottom left corner of the window. Then click on the Advanced tab, and where it says Custom CSS, you want to copy and paste the code from the companion blog post. Now let's give credit where it's due, because this CSS code originally came from the Elementor website. So thank you very much, Elementor. Next, let's select our section by clicking on the 6 dots. And where it says content width, we want to change it to full width. Now where it says minimum height, you want to click on VH and give it a value of 100 VH on the desktop. Then move to tablet, it's going to be 50. And the same goes for the mobile, but it picks it by default. So let's go back into desktop mode. And where it says column position, you want to change it from middle to stretch. Next, you want to click on advanced. And where it says padding, you want to unlink the value so that it's 0 all around. Next, we want to select our first column by hovering over the column, or once again, you can do this in the navigator. So with our first column selected, you want to go on the layout tab, and where it says column width, you want to click on the responsive icon, go into tablet mode and type 100. So you want 100%. And by default, it's going to be the same thing for the mobile. But if you want to check, let's go into mobile and you may retype 100. So let's go back into desktop mode. And next you want to click on advanced, and then you want to unlink the padding value so that it's 0 all around. And next, where it says CSS Classes, you want to copy and paste the class name from the companion blog post. And it's crucial that it's exactly what you see here on screen. And that's necessary for the magic trick to work. So let's zoom back out and let's update our work. Okay, next, let's select column number 2. So I'm going to click on my second column. And once again, where it says column width, I'm going to go into tablet mode and type 100%. Now let's go back into desktop mode. Then click on the Style tab. And where it says background, we want to select classic. And I'm going to select my light gray. Next, click on the Advanced tab. And where it says padding, I'm going to unlink the values, and it's going to be 80, 60, 80, 60 for the desktop. And it's going to be the same thing for the tablet, but not for the mobile. So let's click on the responsive icon, click on mobile, unlink the values. And this time it's going to be 40, 20, 80, 20. Let's update our work and let's go back into desktop mode. Okay, next, for our trick to work, we want to add an inner section. Now I know an inner section within a column is not always the best of practices, but sometimes a WordPress designer's gotta do what a WordPress designer's gotta do. So for that, you wanna click on the widgets icon, and then you wanna scroll to where it says inner section, and you wanna drag an inner section within the first column. Next, you wanna remove the second column within the inner section. So I'm going to right click, hit delete. And next, I wanna make sure I reselect my inner section by clicking on the 6 dots, or here in the navigator. So with my inner section selected, where it says content width, I want to change it to full width. And where it says minimum height, I want to select min height, click on VH. and I'm going to give it a value of 96 on the desktop, but that's because of the height of my custom navigation, my custom header. So it may change for you. So make sure you play with those values. Now I'm going to click on the responsive icon, go into tablet mode, and this time it's going to be 50 VH, and by default, the mobile is going to pick 50 VH. Okay, so let's go back into desktop mode and let's click on the style tab. So where it says background type, you want to select classic, and then you want to hover over the image and click on the dynamic tags icon. Click on featured image, and then where it says repeat, you want to select no repeat, and where it says size, you want to select cover. Next, click on the advanced tab. Then where it says margin, you want to click on the icon to unlink the value, so it's 0, and same thing for the padding. 0 all around. Next, where it says CSS classes, you want to copy and paste the class from the companion blog post, paste it here. So make sure it's spelled exactly like this, otherwise it's not going to work. Okay, let's zoom back out and let's save our work. So it's starting to take shape, and now we need to add a few more elements. So let's click on the widgets icon, and I'm going to type button, and I'm just going to drag a button widget here in the second column. So let me close the navigator, and with my button selected, where it says text, I'm going to change the text to back. Now where it says link, I'm going to click on the dynamic tags icon, and I'm going to select post URL. Next, where it says alignment, I'm going to select left, and I'm going to click on the icon for the icon library, and then I'm just going to type left, and I'm going to pick this one, caret left. Then click on insert. The icon position should be before, and the icon spacing should be set to 12. Next, click on the style tab, click on typography. I'm going to select my default setting. The size should be 12 pixels. The weight should be 500 in my case. So let's close this. And for the text color, I'm going to pick my primary color, and the background color should be set to transparent. So I'm going to drag the opacity slider all the way to the left. Next, for the border type, you want to select solid. So I'm going to unlink the values and set a bottom border of 1 pixel. The color is going to be my primary color, and the border radius should be set to 0 all around. Next, where it says padding, you want to unlink the value so that it's 0 all around. Next, you want to click on advanced, then click on the transform subtab, click on hover, and then where it says offset, you want to click on the edit icon. So I'm going to give it a negative X offset of -10. So you may be wondering, what does that do? Well, now when I hover over the button, as you can see, it goes to the left. Okay, let's save our work. And now let's add a title. So I'm just going to click on the widgets icon, and then I'm going to drag a post title widget. So I'm going to place it just below the button. And as you can see, by default, it picks the post title. And for the HTML tag, it says H1. Make sure it's H1. Then you want to click on the style tab, click on typography. I'm going to pick my default setting. And then for the size on the desktop, it's going to be 40 pixels. And then for the line height, click on PX, and it's going to be 45. Now let's go into tablet mode. This time it's going to be 30 and 35 for the line height. And let's do this for the mobile. This time it's going to be 20 for the size and 25 for the line height. Okay, let's save our work and let's go back into desktop mode. Next, let's click on the widgets icon. And this time I'm going to drag a post content widget just below the title. Now let's start scrolling. And as you can see, the right hand side is scrolling, but the left hand side is staying fixed. The image is staying fixed, which is the effect we wanted to achieve. Congrats. Okay, so with our text selected, click on typography, and now let's change it to 16. Okay, next, let's add a divider. So once again, let's click on the widgets icon. I'm going to type divider. So let me scroll all the way down, and I'm just going to drag the divider widget below the post content widget. Then go to the style tab, and I'm just going to change the color to my primary color. Okay, great. Let's save our work. Okay, we're getting there. Okay, next, once again, click on the widgets icon, type heading. I'm just going to drag a heading just below the divider. Now let's change the text to latest posts and make sure the alignment is set to center. Next, click on the style tab. Then the text color is going to be my primary color. Then click on typography. Once again, I use my default setting, and the size is going to be 30 on the desktop, and for the line height it's going to be 35. Then let's move on to the tablet version, and this time it's going to be 25 and 30. And then let's move on to the mobile mode. And this time is going to be 20 and 25 for the line height. Let's go back into desktop mode and click on the advanced tab. And where it says margin, you want to unlink the values. And it's going to be 40 pixels on top for the desktop version. Now let's move on to the tablet version, unlink the value so that it's 0 all around. And it's going to be the same thing by default, 0 all around on the mobile. Okay, so let's go back into desktop mode and let's save our work. Okay, next it's now time to add our second grid. So click on the widgets icon and then just below the single widgets here. If you recall, I have my favorites and I added the listing grid. Otherwise, it's at the very bottom. So I'm just going to drag a listing grid widget just below the title. And then where it says listing, I'm going to start typing listing because that's how I label my listings. And this time I'm going to pick listing latest posts. So where it says columns number, I'm going to leave it at 3 for the desktop. Now let's go into tablet mode. And now it's going to be 1. And the same for the mobile, it's going to be 1. Okay, let's go back into desktop mode. Next, where it says posts number, you want to change it to 3. And you want to toggle lazy load to yes. Next, you want to click on the style tab and the horizontal gap should be 10 and the same for the vertical gap, 10. Let's update our work. Okay, looking good, but something seems to be off because the text here is in the middle vertically. I think we've forgotten something. So let's go back to WordPress and then you want to go to Jet Engine, listings, and then where it says listing latest posts, if you labeled it the same way I did, you want to click on edit with Elementor. And as you can see here in the listing, the text is in the middle. So with our section selected, you want to go to where it says column position and you want to change from middle to stretch. Click on update. And now let's go back to our page and let's hit refresh. Let's scroll down and voila. Awesome. So let's take a look at what we've built today. Okay, so if I go to the menu, click on blog, there you go. Here is my grid. And as I scroll with the lazy load and the infinite scroll, here is the lower part. So if you recall, this is the Jet blog widget and this is the listing grid from Jet Engine. So if I click on the first blog post, there we are. So we have our image on the left. And if I start scrolling, only the text moves, but the image stays fixed. And now here at the bottom, I have my latest post. So let's click on another one. And there you go. As you can see, it works beautifully. Next, here's our tablet version. So if I click on the first blog post, there you go. We have a more classical layout, no fixed part except from the navigation, but I'll touch about that a little bit later. And if I scroll, it's going smoothly to the end and I still have my latest posts with a different layout. And once again, last but not least, especially in those days, the mobile version, which is like the most important version. So if I click on the first element, there you go. It looks like the tablet, but in a smartphone form factor. Now, earlier on, I briefly talked about this top header and this gorgeous full screen navigation. Now, if you want to know how to build this, it's your lucky day because I have a full playlist with 33 videos that teach you how to create beautiful and modern navigation. I have many different variations and I'm always trying to push the boundaries. These are actually projects that I use for real clients and I'm sharing this with you. So I hope you appreciate the work. And if you do, I'd really appreciate if you could give this video a thumbs up. It's only a split second for you, but for me, that's going to change so much for this channel. And if you want more web design goodness, make sure you subscribe and smash the notification bell so that you don't miss anything. Now, I can't wait to see what you're going to come up with. Now, don't forget, I'm trying to build the content that I wish I had when I got started. So I hope this really helped you. I'm thankful for you being on the channel and watching those videos. I hope to see you around. And if there's any type of video you'd like me to create, let me know in the comments. And if I have the time and if I can, then I will create it. So I'll see you in the next one. And until then, take care and stay safe.